If you haven't purchased a home before, or if this is your first time purchasing a home in Texas, we're going to break down a step-by-step guide exactly how to complete the home purchase guide here in El Paso, Texas. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. Please consider reaching out to us if you're looking to purchase a home. And with that, let's jump into it. I've got basically 6 steps that we're going to walk you through. So step number 1 is, before you do anything, get your financial house in order and plan ahead. What I mean by this is that unless you're purchasing a home with cash, you're going to have to get pre-approved for a loan in order to purchase a home. In order to get pre-approved, you need to have that financial house in order. So here's some things. You can look this up and get a little more in-depth or reach out to us for more. But this is essentially doing things like making sure you're up to date on all of your payments. You don't want any overdue bills or anything like that. If you have credit cards or outstanding debts that can be paid off, think about paying those off, because what's going to happen when the lender looks at your finances, they're going to look at your debt to your asset to your income, and they're going to decide whether or not they'll pre-approve you and for how much. So if you can kind of get your credit score kind of muscled up in the meantime, that's going to be definitely to your advantage. And as far as planning ahead, you want to make sure that you are not making any big purchases that might jeopardize your credit standing. So when you start the home buying process, that is no longer the time to consider purchasing a car, taking on a bigger debt. That's certainly not the time to go on some big crazy vacation, okay? You want to keep your financial house in order. You want to have plenty of cash on hand for down payments and closing costs. And like I said, you want to make sure that that financial picture that you have for yourself looks as good as humanly possible. Keep in mind that the home buying process takes most people about 2 to 3 months to complete, from the very beginning to the very end closing. All right, so there's a little bit of a timeline analysis for you as well. So now you've got everything squared away with your finances. Step number 2 is to reach out to a lender or lenders and ask and get that pre-approval. This is a really important part of the process, because whenever we start to submit offers on your behalf, we have to include the pre-approval with those offers so that the sellers know that yes, you are a serious qualified buyer. So what you're going to do is you're going to reach out to a mortgage lender. This can be your bank that you currently use. This could be an online lenders like Rocket Mortgage, etc. Or there are plenty of lenders that we can recommend for you throughout the state of Texas. You just want to make sure that you have a mortgage lender who's licensed in the state of Texas. Like I said, they're going to ask for, how long have you been working at your job? How much do you make? What debts do you have? Credit card, car payments, things like that. What assets do you have? Do you have savings? Do you have stocks? All of that kind of stuff. They're going to put that picture together. Yes, they are going to check your credit score. Don't freak out. It's not going to ruin your credit score. It's totally fine. There's a misconception that when a lender checks your credit score that somehow that's going to balloon the whole thing. That's not true. But they are going to thoroughly go through your finances, and then they're hopefully going to come back and say, congratulations, we pre-approve you to purchase X amount of home, right? That X amount is really important because you want to know how much home you can afford. If you get a pre-approval for $400, but you've spent the last month looking at homes that are $500,000, well, then you're going to be disappointed. So getting that pre-approval before you really do much of anything else is pretty key. That's step number 2. Step number 3 is the fun part, okay? This is the part you've already probably been doing behind the scenes, and that is looking at homes. Most of you are probably on Zillow or whatever other app, and you're looking at homes, starring things that you like, getting excited. This is where now you have the pre-approval, you know it's go time, you know you can purchase a home, and this is when we're actually going to really start seriously looking at the homes that you are most interested in. If you're in El Paso, well, that's great. We're going to show you homes in person. If you're not here, that's no problem. We're going to make walkthrough videos where we show you the good, the bad, and the ugly of these homes. And it's going to be a great way for you to get an idea of, does the home functionally work for you? Are you vibing with the neighborhood? Is the home priced, where you want to be at, and all of that. So searching for homes is super, super important. You want a great real estate agent who is very familiar with the market, so not only can they point out things that you might not notice as far as physical aspects of the home, but we can also point out things like, hey, this home is priced well, this home isn't priced that well, or hey, this one's in an HOA, are you cool with that? This one has solar panels that aren't paid off. So you really need a great real estate agent who can really guide you through that home search process. Step number 4, this is also fun. This is where you've identified a home that you really like and it's time to submit an offer for that home. So in addition to including that pre-approval, we're also going to set all the terms of your offer. There are basically, to me, 3 really important terms to set. 1, the sales price. How much are you going to offer for the home? And again, a fantastic real estate agent is going to do a comparative market analysis, compare it to other homes around there that are similar, and tell you whether or not, and kind of guide you on, hey, the home is overpriced, it's underpriced, this is a good price if you want to get this outcome. Sales price, you're also going to ask potentially for seller concessions. This is where, depending on the market, a seller might help you out with your closing costs, okay? And then we're going to negotiate other terms like getting your buyer agent commission covered by the seller, and then all of some of these other little details like earnest money, termination option fee, and everything else that goes into crafting a fantastic offer, while not only making your offer competitive, but trying to negotiate the best terms on your behalf. So now you've submitted those offers. Step number 5 is you get an offer accepted, and congratulations, we say that the offer has been executed and now you are under contract. Once you're under contract, it kicks off a number of steps. First and foremost, you have 3 business days to turn in the earnest and option money. Earnest money is essentially kind of like a deposit, kind of showing good faith that yes, you are interested in this home. Depending on the price of the home, the minimum earnest money is typically $1,000, but it goes up to about 1% of the sales price. And then there's what we call a termination option fee. Essentially, once you get under contract, you have the next 7 to 10 business days to complete a home inspection, ask, negotiate repairs or price changes, or walk away for any reason that you deem necessary. And so that termination option fee and earnest money needs to get wired or delivered to the title company. And basically, then we're going to get your home inspection done. If it's a VA or FHA, we may have to do a pest termite. There are lots of different options for inspections that we can walk you through. This is a really exciting part because essentially now what's happening also behind the scenes is that your lender is really starting to work, because now we've sent them that executed contract and now they're jumping through all the hoops, working with the underwriters, getting everything ready to close, and typically 3 to 4 weeks. From the time that you get your offer accepted to the time that it closes and you're the owner of the home, typically 3 to 4 weeks. A couple other things that are going to happen within those 3 to 4 weeks. In the 2nd or 3rd week, the lender is going to order an appraisal, and a licensed appraiser is going to go out to the home. They're going to make sure that the home is valued at, the price that hopefully you're paying for it. If the appraisal comes in low, of course, we're going to try to renegotiate that price. And basically, at this point too, the lender's going to be reaching out to you, making sure that they have all of the documents that they need. So it's really important that you're really attentive to your lender, because that's a key part of the transaction at this point. And then the last step is the actual closing. So whenever a home or a transaction closes, a couple of things happen. You, the buyer, have to sign all of the closing documents. Typically, you'll do that in person if you're here in El Paso at the title company, and we'll be there right with you. If you're not in El Paso, no problem. You can sign with a mobile notary, where you'll meet a mobile notary someplace, or they'll come to you with all of the documents. You'll sign, they'll send them back. The next thing that has to happen is the seller has to sign the closing documents, and then you have to essentially pay any down payment and or closing costs that you're going to have, and then your lender has to pay the remaining balance of the loan. And then once the title company has received all of those funds, they transfer it from, they have it now in this case, and they transfer it to the seller. And the transaction is finalized and it's closed, it's funded, and you are now the recipient and the owner of a new home. So That's kind of the closing, kind of in a nutshell, so to speak. There are certainly some other nuances, but of course, you need a real estate agent who will walk you through those things. Does everything work out perfectly all the time? Absolutely not. Why? Because there are so many people and variables involved. So there's a seller, there's you, the buyer, there's your lender, there's the seller's lender, there's a title company, there's your real estate agent, there's the listing agent. So there's a lot of people and parts involved. And so sometimes things do go sideways for whatever reason. And so again, you need a great real estate agent who has been through this process and can kind of manage all of that for you. And that of course is the goal for and the purpose of your real estate agent, to make it as smooth and seamless and enjoyable as humanly possible. And that's of course what Alex and I are here to do. We can, of course, give you any kind of clarification, answer any questions you have, help you understand anything in this video that you didn't understand. No problem. Reach out to us, call, text, email, let us know what's going on. We're always here to help. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.